Welcome to another special edition of Geeky Nigeria exclusive interview series, where we get to interact with innovators and experts across different fields. Geeky Nigeria is a media company that is poised towards creating content centered around education, lifestyle, and technology. My name is Abimbola Adeshino, and I'll be the host for the show today. Joining us this morning is the overall best graduating student from the University of Ilorin in person of Mr. Ayodeji Akinsanya, who finished with a whooping 4.97 CGPA and also from the Department of Mathematics. Wow. We are going to be having a whole lot to learn this morning, and it is going to be a really insightful session. Welcome, Mr. Ayodeji, and how are you doing this morning?
Thank you, Miss Abimbola. I'm actually good. And how are you doing too?
Fine. We're so honored to have you on the show this morning. So before I go into the whole introduction and you telling us about yourself, first, I would like to know, how does it feel to carry this emblem of being the best graduating student? Like, how do you feel personally?
I feel very, very happy. And to carry the burden is really not easy. um, since the beginning of this week, my WhatsApp has actually been very occupied. My Twitter, LinkedIn, everybody congratulating me. It's actually not an easy task. I'm very, very happy.
Wow, wow, wow. Congratulations and that. Congratulations. So,
Thank you
first
so
of
much.
all, can you please introduce yourself? Would like to meet you. Who is Mr. Ayodeji?
Okay. Ayodeji is a graduate of Mathematics Department, University of Ilorin. He's from Ogun State, Odeda local government to be precise. He finished with a CGPA of 4.97 out of 5 from the University of Ilorin, Department of Mathematics. Then I think that's all about Ayodeji.
So, was there a particular reason why you chose University of Ilorin? Was there a particular reason?
There are two reasons why I chose the University of Ilorin.
Okay.
The first reason was because of the academic stability. I was before University of Ilorin joined ASU strike. So it was known, Ilorin is known to be, when you have a 4-year program, you're going to complete it under 4 years, no delay.
Wow.
And
Are you
secondly,
shading universities right now?
what do you say?
I said that is true. That is true about University of Ilorin, actually.
And secondly, my dad sent me down here to University of Ilorin to bring what he forgot, which is a first class.
Wow. Okay, now that is going to be making me to ask a question. Did you actually get really motivated because your dad did not get this first class, so it was something you had to do, or because you wanted to?
I can say both. Firstly, I was actually motivated by my dad. He said, okay, once us, because my elder brother also finished here in University of Ilorin. He said he wanted us to finish with the first class because he almost finished with the first class. So my elder brother, up to his final year, was on first class, 4.65. But unfortunately, he did not graduate the first class. He finished with a 4.4 something. So seeing that alone actually motivated me that, no, I'm going to bring this back to the family.
Wow, wow. But looking at it, didn't it feel like a lot of pressure on you? Your daddy almost, your elder brother almost, and then didn't you feel pressured at any point?
Yeah, I felt pressure, but I was able to manage it. And the way they put pressure on my head, they also tell me that I should not stress myself too much. If it's not possible, there's no problem.
Wow. So was there any point you got demotivated?
A lot of time I got demotivated due to one or two reasons, maybe financial constraint or sometimes difficulty in the courses we are doing. Actually, but thank God I was able to scale through.
That's amazing. So who were your companions during this journey? Who were those that assisted you
All my
during this
companions
journey?
during this journey. Okay, first of all, I'll start with the brain behind my success, which was my elder brother. So every day he
Okay.
checks up on me and like, what is the situation reports? How is it going today? Okay, what have you done? How do you, okay, what are you facing? This and this. How do you intend to solve it? He gives me several advices that, okay, good, like this, and like this. It's going to work. And I should also talk about the financial part. He actually tried a lot. So it's actually, I would say number one is the brain behind. And number two, I'll talk about my parents too. Yep. So they actually tried their best. And I'll talk about my friends too. Because I had my close friend, we are about three that work together. And by the grace of God, the three of us finished with the first class. So sometimes when we are facing some difficult topic, we sit together and try to brainstorm on the topic that, okay, how do we go about this? How do we go about that? And it was a success.
So you mentioned your friends, you or the three of
Yes.
you finished with a first class, right? So
Yes.
you think it was possible where in a scenario where one of your friends wasn't as good as the rest of you, did you think it was going to impact your grade in any way?
No, I just believe in collaborative efforts.
Okay. So you
So
don't think,
when we
okay, please go on. Please go
go
on.
ahead, please. So I just
So I was
feel
just, okay,
um,
please go on, Mr. Ayodeji.
okay, so I feel when you have like minds and definitely one person be better than the other, and because I have the highest CGPA does not imply I'm the best among them. So we
Okay.
sit down together, brainstorm, everybody contributes their little ideas, and we turn it to something very significant.
Okay, okay. So you don't think if I am in a group with someone who isn't as good as I am, I shouldn't be affected. Like my grade should not be affected. Is that what you're
Yes,
trying to say?
yes, that's what I'm saying.
So the people I work with shouldn't influence me, but rather should even make me focus more.
Yes, and they should make you do better.
Okay, that's the key word. Make me do better. Okay,
Yes.
so if I see that the person I am working with isn't impacting me positively, would you advise me to cut off that person?
I wouldn't say you should cut off that person because we don't know tomorrow where we are going to meet, but you can actually caution the relationship. So,
Okay.
so
Okay.
maybe you step back a little bit and see the way it influences the negative aspects. So you'd caution that.
Okay. Okay. So the next question I have here is, how were you able to put the ideas of graduating as a first class into work? How were you able to put it to work?
Okay, when when I gained admission, first of all, I sat down because there's like a PDF I had then that contained all the course I'm doing from 100 to 400 level. So I just made like a rough sketch. Okay, my 100 level at that 4.8, 200 level at 4.7. Just a rough sketch that, okay, if I can sit up to this, definitely I'll finish with the first class. Then it was actually funny, but the motivation actually came in between that, okay, this is what I have. I have a target. Then I
Okay.
actually worked with the target and I did better than the targets.
Wow. Okay. Another round of applause right there. So you said 100 level you fixed, let's say 4.8, 200 level you fixed 4.9 probably. So now, confession time. How were your
Okay.
grades in 100 level, 200 level, and 300 level like?
Okay, in my 100 level, I had two Bs, and the two Bs were 69.
Wow.
Then, so I finished with 4.89. I wasn't the scholar in my 100 level because it was one of my friends. You know, I told you we had three that actually worked together. One of
Yes.
them was the scholar. So in 200 level, I had a 5.0. So I took over being the scholar. 300 level, also a 5.0. 400 level, 5.0.
Okay, now before I move on to my next question, now in part one, was it the fact that your friend had this high score that made you both gravitate towards each other? Like, did you, because I'm sure you didn't get to know each other before coming to University of Ilorin. You met in school,
Yeah.
am I right? Okay, so was it
Yes.
because you noticed, or every one of you noticed that, oh, this person is good, this person is good, and that's how you were able to select your friends? Or how did you pick your friends?
The fun part was that in 100 level, we just met. One of them was actually my roommate in 100 level.
Oh,
So then
wow.
the other one, we met along the way. But before we did our tests in the first semester, we already met each other. We are collaborating, giving ourselves tips. Then when anybody's facing any difficulty, we reach out to each other that how do you solve this? Do you mind solving it? Then sending it to me. Let me go through it. Then we share materials with each other too. It was actually we met actually before any exam.
Oh, that is amazing. That is amazing. So now, how were you able to maintain such academic records throughout these levels?
One thing first of all I'll say is God.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I learned about time management. I do complain of something that there is no time, there is no time, there is no time. Not until my brother told me that I have the whole time in the world, only if I know how to manage my time. Then I sat down, I evaluated myself. Okay, what do I do exactly with my time? So when I checked what exactly I did with my time, it was actually it was nothing to call up. Maybe watching movie, hanging out with some of my friends. Then I cut most of those things down. Then I saw that I had extra time, more than enough time to eat and to rest.
Wow. So you learned time management as early on as 100 level. Can you hear me, Mr. Ayodeji?
Yes.
Okay. So I know there's a saying that says all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So how were you
Yes, I
able
can
to,
hear you.
yes, how were you able to manage your time effectively between your coursework, extracurricular activities, and your personal life, knowing that the saying says all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy? So how were you able to maintain this balance and manage your time effectively?
Okay. At the beginning of the week, on Sunday, I sit academically in my personal life. I have to do this and that. So when I make the draft already, every day I have what to do. I have like a to-do list. So following them accordingly actually made me manage my time, and it was actually good. So I made use of to-do lists.
So that means I'll be correct to say you were actually involved in other extracurricular activities.
Yes.
Can you share some of those activities you were engaged in?
Okay. I'm starting from my 200 level. I taught tutorial at the departmental level and the faculty level to help most especially the 100 and the 100 level. When I was in 200, mainly to help the 100 level and to share my experience with them on how they could journey around, they could move around the journey. So same with my 300 level to them. At some point in my 300 level, me and my friends, we collaborated together to we collaborated together and found a a non-profitable organization that's a voluntary organization where we train people about tech skill. So then in my 400 level, I also acted as the chairman of the electoral committee of the department.
Wow, that's amazing. You mentioned tech skills. Would I be correct to say you are into tech?
Mm, yes,
So which aspect of tech?
I'm web development.
Wow. Okay, that is amazing. Now, I believe everyone that goes to school, or most people go with the thought of, I want to be the best. Yes. I, for one, wanted to be the best. So, in a case where, for instance, let me use my example. On getting to school, the first result I saw was a D. I got so demoralized. I felt, okay, plan shattered. So, were there moments like that where you felt demotivated, like, okay, I'm not running this course again? Did you have moments like that?
There were a lot.
Okay, would you like to share some?
Let me just talk about my 300 level. So at 300 level, let me just use University of Ilorin as an example. 300 level Department of Mathematics is the toughest level. So after finishing my first semester was like it was too difficult, but I knew I was able to do my exam very well. But it was very difficult. So immediately I think there was just a week holiday. I went home. I spent more than a week just to relax because the stress I went to during the exam period was too much. Not knowing that my first semester in 300 level was just a prerequisite to what I was going to face in 300 level. So come back to 300 level, first, second semester, we were doing tests. I was scoring as low as 10, 11 over 30. And I
Wow.
wanted to have an A in the course.
Wow.
So during the exam period, it was too difficult, but I was able to scale through. Thank God.
Now, you said you had 11 over 30. How were you still able to
Yes.
have an A in that course?
The goal is to have above 16 exam, and because I had 11, I think I scored 66 over 70 in the exam.
Wow. Okay. With the way you are mentioning this course, I don't know. We all have this idea that mathematics is hard. I know you're a mathematician, and it's not every day we get to meet scholars like you. But really, what would you say about this norm that everyone says that mathematics is hard? Is it just a misconception, or is it really hard?
Um, just as people said that mathematics is hard, if you should ask me a question concerning another subject too, I'll tell you it is hard because I really don't know much about it. And when you meet somebody in the field, the person will also tell you that it is not difficult. You just have to follow this and this, this and this. That applies to mathematics also. Mathematics is a process, a principle, then your definitions. So you apply them, you arrive at the right answer. And I see mathematics as one of the simplest subjects because you know where you are going to. You have a step you are following. It's not a kind of it's not a kind of subject that somebody will have an answer and that person answer will be different again. Then it's correct based on it's not a subject that is correct based on the perception of the person you are giving the answer to. No, it's a general answer that is actually correct.
Okay, so if I'm to look at it from your point of view, well, that's a different angle. The fact that there's one answer to every equation, to every question, unlike other courses where my view is different, another person's perspective is different. So that's the view you're looking at it from. But we non-mathematicians will tell you that the fact that I have to cram formulas, solve equations, that alone makes it difficult. So how were you able to like cram all of these many formulas? Because I saw that you have 3 publications already approved. So how were you able to like
Yeah.
have this? What was your secret?
So one thing is I'm that's why you need structural planning. So I'm not the type of person that love doing things under pressure. So
Mm-hmm.
my academics, I start reading as early as during the holiday. So I take it gradually. During the holiday, I cover my GNS and I have basic knowledge across all my courses. So at first day in school, you can ask me about this course. I'll tell you that this and this is what we are expected to do. It's a prerequisite of this particular course. Then I have a background knowledge. So once the lecturer starts teaching, it will be like what I've learned before, but it's just building on it. And immediately I get home, the extra thing I was able to learn in the class, I'll put it into writing. And concerning my publication, I had a very good supervisor. So at first, the journey between me and my supervisor was a bit rough because my supervisor is a very disciplined man. If he tells you come to school 7 o'clock and you arrive 7:01, he's not going to attend to you that day.
Wow.
So I understand the principle then. He made me then I think he spotted my hardworking spirit. So from there, he gained interest in me. Then he puts me through those things. Then from there we collaborated on about 2 papers together,
Oh,
and the 2 papers has been accepted. The only thing remaining for that paper is just for it to be published because the journal we published it on published only twice a year. So they've accepted it and they'll be publishing by I think that's 1st of January. And my last paper is
okay. That's going to be another congratulations. Wow. So
so
I
much.
I wanted to I would have asked if you had maybe some persons in particular, professors or courses that significantly impacted your success.
Can you come again with the question, please?
Like, did you have a particular course or were they professors that influenced your significant performance?
I'll talk about my supervisor, Professor O.A. Taiwo. So one thing it does for me every week is that I go home with at least one journal. So he gives me the journal. He will tell me to go and review it. I should read. Some journals, most time, some journals just they won't show the working. They just move straight to the answer. They expect you to follow the methodology described. So you expect me to go and solve it. So solving it, I'll bring it back to him that this is what I've done. Then he'll tell me that how can we make this thing better? More like we're looking for a modification of that particular method.
Mhm.
So from there, it gave me the ability to be able to think outside the box, not just what we are doing in the class. Think outside the box. How can I make this better? And it's actually helped me. And at least I've been able to modify about 2 to 3 numerical methods.
Oh, wow. So I can actually bring that into the general life view that in life, it's identifying a problem and looking for a way to solve that problem for people. And then if there are existing solutions, we also look for ways to make it better. So I think that
Yes.
was what you did there. And that was what stood out for
Yes.
you. So it's all about we looking for ways to make life better for people and easier.
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned Professor Taiwo helping you
Yes.
significantly during your journey. So now,
Yes.
what would be your take on the importance of mentors during any significant life impact?
The significance of mentor, you have to have a mentor and a very good mentor that is ready to take up on you. So sometimes when you don't know something, you don't know it. So when you have a
Mhm.
mentor, the mentor can give exposure that okay, why don't you make research about this and this? It might work well for you. So then you take your time to go and make research about it. So having a mentor affects your life significantly. Likewise, if you have a bad mentor also, it's the other way too.
So how were you able to pick your mentor?
When you are doing the right thing or someone is putting you through the right thing, definitely you will know. And so then when my supervisor was pushing me, it was very, very difficult, but I knew what this man was actually pushing me into was actually a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just keep pushing. Then I actually talked to my other brother about it. Then he told me that okay, just keep trying, keep striving. It's going to be better. Tomorrow, when you're enjoying it, nobody would enjoy it with you.
Nobody will
So
be
your
there.
success.
So I'm sure you must have had quite a couple of challenges during this journey. Would you mind sharing some
Yeah.
challenges you faced?
One of the major challenge I faced was financial. So because I came from an humble background, so my parents actually tried their best. My elder brother to did his best to support, but not every time. I can't be calling every time to ask that I want to buy this, I want to buy that. So I also had to like sort out for some extra funds. So what I did on a fateful, was it Saturday? I could not remember the day. I walked. The journey was about 2 kilometers. So I walked down to make an inquiry about this an IGMB center. Okay, are you looking for tutor? I'm a first class student in my second year, University of Ilorin Mathematics. If you need an IGMB tutor or a tutor for jam blessing, then I went around about 5 or 6 centers. Then one of them reached out back to me. Then gave me like a jam class then that I should teach. From after that, I also taught IGMB class there too as I move forward. So sorting out the expenses, and I also worked with some private tutorials session in school too. They actually they help upcoming students, especially maybe the 100 or 200 level student. I actually assisted them with teaching. So striking the balance between my academic and my work life. And my third year, I also got an online teaching work, and I also have to build my personal skills. So juggling everything together was very, very difficult.
Okay, now I'm getting more motivated because one would have expected that most mathematicians are all about the book. But from all you said now, you were quite involved in a whole lot of activities. And then I'm wondering how you were able to balance everything, taking tutorials, online courses, and still maintaining your best position. How were you able to balance everything without getting tired?
At some point, I was tired, which was one of it's affected me in a semester that my test scores were not really too good. But when I saw my test score was not really too good, I still tried my best to manage both the teaching and my academics. But at some point, I saw that if I should continue like this, it's going to affect my academics. So I took a pause on the teaching for a while just to balance myself before I get back to it.
Wow. Okay. So what I can say from there is identifying early on if there is any excesses and then being able to shed off the excess. So priority, your priority was to excel, yes. So not the money at that time. So if the money was
Yes.
affecting your
And
excellence, yeah.
also,
Okay, please go
no,
on.
I was actually talking about also the money then from the teachings was not so encouraging. But the main joy there was being able to impact into people's life, and they come back to you and they'll be like, thank you so much for the tutorial. It was more like you were the one that sets the question. Something like that joy is actually very overwhelming.
Yes, yes, I think I understand. Knowing that you were able to help people and they see you on the road and you're like, oh, that was the person that helped me pass. I I think I resonate
Exactly.
with that. All right, let's move on to the next question. So we know that final year could be really demanding. Yes. How were you able to maintain your GP at that particular level?
Final year was really, really demanding for me, I would say. It's like for my department, your final year should be a little bit stressful because our coursework were not too much. But mine was more stressful because it was during my final year. I wrote my 3 publication. Then I also had some research work I did for my supervisor, which he published that my name is not there. He also connected me with about 1 or 2 people that I assisted with their research work, which though my name did not reflect in it. But so juggling that with my academics was very, very difficult. Like it was, but one thing is that I didn't. My supervisor told me that this research work of a thing is a part-time work that you should do during your leisure period. So if I see it is affecting me, I should tell him. So at some point, I told him when it was about exam time, about for like a month, I took a break on research work.
Okay.
So he gave me, I think, about a week or 2 weeks before my exam. Then throughout my exam, he gave me the freedom that I should go and focus on my academics. Then when I'm done with my exam, I should come back.
Wow. Okay. That's another thank you to Professor Taiwo, because it really had a large impact in the success story. So
Yes.
we know that there are different techniques or strategies that some persons employ. For me, I I preferred reading when exams were closer, because I felt okay, that's what will make me remember more. But you had mentioned that you start reading right from the first day. So now, what study techniques or strategies did you find the most effective in achieving your ICGPA? What technique in particular?
Okay, just as you said earlier, every technique is different. Everybody technique is different. So for
Mhm.
me now, the way I read very early, and I also find it very easy to read very early in the morning. Maybe sometimes I wake up around 3, 4 o'clock. So what I assimilate between from 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock to around 7 o'clock, I might not cover it spending 6 or 7 hours during the day to read it. So you see that time between 4 to 7 is the most precious time I have. So I make use of the time very well, and I make use of the time very well to make sure I achieve what I want to read for the day. Then the rest for the day would just be more like a revision bounded around what I learned during that period. And I also studied myself aside from okay, once I read finish, I also memorize some other part of, especially there are some part of mathematics that it's more like a theorem and you really don't understand it, but you must excel in it. So I try my best to also memorize them, and the pattern I used to memorize is different from that of my friend. There's one of my friend that the pattern in which he used to memorize is he should write something over and over again. He can write it about 10 times. But me, I find it once I write it once or twice, then once I look at it, I keep looking at it gets used to me. So
Okay, so that means you have a photographic memory.
hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I said that means you have a photographic memory.
Yes, something around that.
Wow. Okay. So you mentioned waking up early. Were you
Yes, I said something around that.
yes, were you an on-campus student or you were off campus?
Y-
I meant
Off
where you,
campus.
oh, you were, so
Yeah, I
does
said
uni
off
have
campus.
like cells for students?
What do you say?
I said, does UNILORIN have like an hostel for students?
Yes, they have hostel on campus for students.
So was there a reason you chose to stay off campus? And did it in any way influence your study? Like, did you feel like, oh, if I had stayed on campus, I can't achieve my goal, so you had to stay on off campus?
Um, um, no, the
Can you?
major reason why I stayed off campus is because I love my privacy. So if I'm to stay with someone, I would prefer to be just myself, or maybe just a person with me, either one or two. Can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can. I can.
Okay. So I said I would prefer to be, if I would stay, I should stay alone or just two of us. So trying to get an accommodation like that on school is going to cost a lot. And I'm from an humble background, I can't afford that. Or
Okay.
my parents cannot afford that. So I have to stay off campus and cut my coat according to my size. So staying on campus would have actually helped me because one of the significant problem we battle here in University of Ilorin is transportation issue, although it has reduced drastically. So I would, if I stay on campus, I won't go through the transport issue. I would, once I finish my lecture, I would go back to my hostel rest, and it will be easy for me to start my reading. But just the financial aspect of it is the major reason why I did not stay on campus.
Okay. Okay. So nothing like the place you choose to stay affecting the goal you set for yourself.
No.
So now you had mentioned that when you first resumed, you set some goals for yourself, 100 level, 4.8, this and that. So what gave you the motivation that you could actually achieve those goals?
One thing is once I see something that somebody has done it before, then I believe I can also do it because that person did not have to wait. So when I was in 100 level, when I entered 100 level, the Ilorin did a convocation. So the best graduating students in the university for the convocation was also for mathematics departments. So on getting
Wow.
there, I was like, no, I can also do it. Since this girl can do it, I can also do it.
Wow. Wow. So there must be something about Department of Mathematics at this point. Wow. So were they impacts like your extracurricular activities? Did they in any way or at any point impact your grade?
Um, is it negatively or positively?
Share both, please.
Um, Positively. Let me talk about the positive aspect first. Let's say, for example, most of our courses are continuation of previous course, or you need a prerequisite knowledge of the previous course. So
Okay.
one thing that affects mostly and it affects me also is that once I finish a level, sometimes, so if I'm not going through that concept again, I tend to forget. So the moment I'm teaching the lower level, definitely I want to prepare before class and I have the knowledge. So reading my particular course that is makings of that concept, I won't need to go back to that concept to learn it.
Mm.
So it actually made my work easy. I was using one stone to kill two birds.
So in your case, it was the choice of extracurricular activity that actually helped you.
Yes, it did.
So beyond or aside from the lecturing, were you involved in other extracurricular activities, say sports? You mentioned being a member of the electoral committee. Were you
Yes.
actively engaged like in the
Yes,
whole
yes,
election process?
I was the chairman in my 400 level, so the chairman definitely is engaged in everything.
Okay. Was there any non-academic extracurricular activity you're engaged in aside from election and the teaching? Did you do any other thing?
No.
Okay,
I
so that is a
guess I
big
thought
one,
about
right?
some sports, something like that.
Yes, sports, SUG, all of those.
No, 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 no.
Wow. So now, aside the lecturing books that you had to read, aside your lecturer, did University of Ilorin as a university itself, did it in any way influence your success?
Mm. Influence my success. How, aside from teaching me, or
Yes, like the school in general, the school, university, or maybe it's antecedents, the history the school has, the environment of the school. So did the school itself influence your success? We know that the textbooks, your lecturers, and those ones were motivators, yeah. But did the University of Ilorin itself impact you in any way?
One way I could say University of Ilorin impacted me was that there's this kind of recognition they give to the scholar of each department, and they also give them a stipend. So that's kind of like being the scholar of the university, the honor is a lot. So once you are the scholar, you would want to drop it because the type of honor you are going to get.
Oh, okay. So it kept your morale high all through.
Exactly. And feeling that a lot of people are looking up to me.
Wow. I think so. The motivation was the fact that you cannot disappoint all of these people looking up to you, and you cannot disappoint yourself.
Yes.
Now, at what point did you learn web development?
That was during the ASU strike that came up after my 200 level. That was when I started learning it. And I'm still learning.
Did you go back home during that period, or you learned while you were in school?
Oh, I went back home.
Mm. So, can you say you are an advanced web developer now?
And now I'll call myself intermediate.
Intermediate. So now that you're graduated, how do you intend to apply your academic achievements into your career?
Um, First of all, now that I've graduated, I actually want to pursue my master's and PhD immediately.
Are you
So the
planning to
reason,
become a lecturer?
um, yes, I would love to lecture,
Wow.
but because the major reason I would love to lecture is because, for example, now you made mention of something earlier that a lot of people say mathematics is difficult, it's complex, it's that, it's this, right? So I
Yes.
made a research one at some point that why do people say mathematics is like this? Then I noticed that the major reason why mathematics is like this to some people is because of the type of teacher that taught them.
Mm. Mhm.
So I would love to bridge the gap between theoretical mathematics and applied mathematics, where people would not just see mathematics as a subject, you also see it as an application, as something that can be applied into real world. Because basically there's nothing that is actually going on in this world that does not revolve around mathematics.
Okay. There's nothing that is in this world that does not revolve around mathematics. Okay, don't scare us, please. Don't scare us. So, why exactly did you now choose to go for web development if lecturing is something you also want to venture into?
Okay, one thing is that there is nothing wrong to do that you won't need finance.
True.
So I actually need a skill in which I can actually use to make money and also make life easy for people. For example, now I have a website that people can, let's say, for example, Geeky Media needs something. Okay, Geeky Media does not have a website. They have to go into their WhatsApp to drop a message for them. Okay, I need an information on this and that. What if they have a website and they can actually portray it? Because one of the key aspects of mathematics is that mathematics is a subject for problem solving.
Mhm.
So if I go into web development, I can actually solve a lot of problem and reduce the stress. Okay, Kiki Media wants to recruit people. They don't have to go into their maybe they are any of their platform, then message them and send their DM. It's what I can create a website and you just have a link displayed on their social media. Then everybody's going to fill the link, and after filling it, then they can actually filter it. Those are part of the things you can do at the back end of the website.
Wow. So, does that mean you plan to do both lecturing and web development?
Yes, I plan to do both.
Okay, that's amazing. Now, what advice would you give to young people out there who want to rewrite this story? Like you said, when you came in, a lady was the best from Department of Mathematics, yeah? So I'm sure there's also someone who wants to beat your record. Now, beating 4.97 CGPA is going to take a whole lot of work. So what advice would you be giving people who have forged this dream in their minds?
Okay, one advice I would be giving to them is number one, they should know how to manage their time. And
Mhm.
they should know how to manage their time and they should have a structural plan. When they are coming, okay, this and this is what I want to achieve and how do I intend to go about it. Then also along the journey where they are battling with their academic success, they should also think of their personal skill too.
Mhm.
And definitely during the journey, a lot of challenges will come. So they should not look at the challenge as just something. They should not just look at it as a challenge
Mm.
because failure is because I learned failure is a vital part of success. Failure is not just when you fail; it is when you fail and you refuse to stand up.
Mhm.
So when they actually encounter a lot of failure, they should see it as a motivation for them to do better. Then
Absolutely.
one other thing they should just think God too.
They should what? I didn't get
They
that.
should trust in God.
Trust in Lord. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh,
I think with
so
that, they'll be fine.
absolutely, absolutely. So what are some of those things you can call hindrances that every student should shed off on the academic journey?
Number one, I'll talk about the type of friends you have. So you have to caution the type of your type of friendship. Not just necessarily you have just friends that actually bookworm, but have friends that you know that they can impact your life positively. Because some
Mm-hmm.
people, the type of friends they have are friends that actually introduce them to party.
Yeah.
So if they can actually curb that, then um under hindrance is I think that's all I could think of now.
Thank you so much. So who who else can you call the biggest supporters during your time? Can we have them, your parents? Who were your biggest supporters?
First of all, my parents, then after that, my elder brother. I am the Akinsanya. He's actually, I could say, he's the brain behind my success today because he did well, both financially, word of encouragement. He did well. Then my
Wow,
friends too.
your friends. So, on a general scale, how has your time in the University of Ilorin shaped you? Like, reflect on how you were when you started and where you are now. How has the time shaped you?
My journey through University of Ilorin has shaped me like very well. Let me start from the kind of skill I learned. I learned how to manage my time, structural planning, how to work under pressure, collaborative working with people. I also networked with a lot of people. It opened me to a lot of opportunities. So
So you can
the
say
journey,
that
my journey in university really shaped me.
you were a bigger and better person.
Yes.
Wow. So we know some people say that if you don't solve maths daily, there's a probability of you forgetting the formulas and all. So did that apply to you as well?
I can answer that, and the reason why I can answer that is that I did not take reading as maybe an activities that I must do every day. I incorporated it into my day-to-day life. So either mathematics or any other thing, I make sure I read something per day. So I learn new things per day.
So how many hours do you dedicate daily to solving mathematics?
I don't really have a particular hour, but on average, I can say maybe if school is doing holiday, maybe about an hour or two. When school resume, about 3 hours per day. Then during exam period, oh, sometimes I spend 12, 14 hours just reading.
12, 14 hours. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so At this point, you're a role model for many. So, the way you sound, it seems as though you love reading. What are those secrets that makes reading enjoyable to you?
The major thing is number one, I look at where I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at where I'm going to, that okay, I need this. This is a vital, like it's a vital step for me to get to where I'm going to. So
Mm-hmm.
it actually encouraged me, and I won't like when I'm reading, I won't lose the vibes. So it's going to keep going. And when I remember the kind of background I came from and what people are expecting from me, it's not going to make me tired. I could remember a scenario of when I needed to pay. I can't remember what I needed to pay for. So I called my dad. I called my mom. My dad was like, there's no one. Then he was not really feeling too good. So I understand. So and my mom was like, there's no money. Instantly, she went to collect a fast loan. So seeing the kind of the kind of dedication they gave towards me, the only thing I could pay used to pay them back is to make them proud of me.
Success. Mm-hmm. So the sacrifices were more motivation for you.
Exactly.
So shout out to every good parent out there. They go a long way to inspire us. Now, what would you have to say about this general term, school is scam, the school of thought? What would you be saying about that? What do you have to say about that?
What I'll say is that school is not scam. The reason why people say school is not scam is that they believe that coming to school you just come to gain academic knowledge. Most of those people that are saying book school is scam, most of them are educated and they feel where they got to today. It wasn't their book that took them or the academics that took them there. So, but when you check their journey, one of the things that took them to where they are might be the networking they made when they were in school. So school isn't just about just come and learn. The networking part goes a long way. And I could say most of the people I know, their success story was due to the academics. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they are not practicing what they studied in school, but it actually go a long way. Maybe through networking and interaction with like minds.
So we know that actually a lot of people have gotten discouraged with how education is at this time. You know, you getting to study and then doing very well, coming out, and you don't really get the opportunities you want to. What do you advise this kind of people with this mindset?
That's why I said earlier that for people when you are coming out of the university, you should also look at yourself and make yourself an employable graduate. Look at the skills that are in the settings that what do these companies want? This and this, then how
Mhm.
can I improve it? So when you have the skill sets, work might not come immediately after you graduate, but with consistent efforts and all of that, work is going to come.
So making yourself employable, like getting
Exactly.
skills, being able to solve problems, things that can make you different and separate you from every other person.
Yes.
Okay, so aside Professor Taiwo, who else can you call your role model, your mentor?
I would talk about my level advisor, Dr. Detunde. So Dr. Detunde, he has been our level advisor right from 100 level. So he made sometimes when I tell people that okay, I approach my level advisor, like, they'll be like, your level advisor, and he's answering you like this as he answers us as if we are just his friends. So he's actually a very free man. We approach him in the office that okay, I'm going through this and this and this. Then if it is personal advice, he gives to you. If it's like a problem, immediately walk up to the HOD and be like, my student is having so issue. Is there ways can be sorted out? So he's actually a very approachable man. He's ready to listen. Either it is school hours or not, when you give him a call, he's ready to listen to you and you'll profound a solution.
So now that school is over, do you intend to like still maintain this connections that you've made while you were on campus?
Yes, definitely.
Because we know some persons, once school is over, it's difficult maintaining contact. So how do you
Mm,
intend
After
to ensure?
graduation, after graduation, some of our, at final year we were shared under project supervisors and different lecturers. So after a lot of people they finished their projects, the supervisor tried to reach out to them to do one or two things. They declined because they were like they don't need anything from their supervisor again. They are done. But still, my supervisor and other lecturers in the department reached out to me that they want me to help them with this, and I felt very happy to help them because I saw there are a lot of people, but them coming to me to help them, it's like an honor because I don't know tomorrow. I don't know where opportunity is going to come from. So it might come from my lecturers and that. So I intend to maintain the relationship, though the relationship won't be as close as it was during my undergraduate, but I would maintain the relationship.
So now for people that are currently struggling to like have a very good CGPA for one reason or the other, what would you advise them to do to maintain that balance back?
Okay, the reason behind people having issue with their CGPA, I'll talk about the first one. So it can be due to financial constraint. But one thing which I learned from my elder brother is that he told me that if I'm going through a particular problem now and I allow it affect my result, I'm going to suffer twice. So he said if I'm going through a particular problem and I did not allow it to affect the present one, I'll just suffer once, which is true. So if one is going through a particular problem, you allow it to affect another, you are going to suffer for that particular problem and the other it affected. But when you're able to like manage it, that is not affecting the second one. So any student that is actually facing financial constraint, he should try his best and try to finish with a good grade. And some other people that are actually battling with their education, it's due to um maybe they have not found a reading pattern that works for them, or they really don't understand how they are going to go about it. I could remember there are about five of them where we actually had some conversations. Some we talked after 100 level, some after 100 level first semester. They were about 1 point something. Their speed was about 1 point something. We were scared that are they going to cross? And to God be the glory, they graduated with a second class upper. So the
Wow.
advice I gave them then was that okay, study what works for you. You can actually do it. So fast somebody can do this, you can do better. And I'm grateful that they took it up to themselves. So with little guidance, and I'll tell them once they have any issue with any course they are doing and it's what I can help with. So I bring them, teach them, okay, go about it this way and that way, you would understand it. And they were ready. One thing is that they were ready to improve,
Mhm.
and they did improve.
So the first thing is your willingness and readiness to improve and be a better person.
Exactly.
So what were your biggest challenges in mathematics?
Is it like the course that gave me
Yes, like in math.
is it uh, the course that stressed me the most was my abstract algebra. So if you should check out 10 students from 10 different universities, especially in Nigeria, and ask which subject is the most difficult subject in mathematics. I can guarantee that seven of them will tell you it is abstract algebra. So the course is actually it's kind of like difficult because it was so abstract. So I
Wow.
had to
So how were
learn
you
several
able to?
definitions. The way I was able to do it was that I dedicated more time to it. Every semester, I have hierarchy. I make hierarchy. Okay, this is the most difficult course. This one is less difficult. This and that. So it's when I make the hierarchy, it gives me I'm going to allocate time to each of them. So, for
Wow.
example, a course maybe I'm actually doing differential equation that's actually pure calculation. Okay, but pure calculation does not give me much problem. It might be per week, I dedicate maybe 2 hours or 3 hours to it. Then abstract algebra, that I know it's actually a very difficult concept, I can dedicate 5 hours to it. So I don't split my time evenly across all my courses. I split them according to their difficulty.
Wow. So I've even personally learned a lot from you, Mr. Ayodeji, like even to apply in the real life beyond academics. Now, this brings us to our final question. A lot of people now look up to you. Your name now resonates around the world. What do you have to say to everyone supporting you out there?
I would say a very big thank you to everybody. The support, the point I was actually very emotional, but thank you. The support and everything went a long way. I really appreciate that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ayodeji, for your time with us. And we are rooting for you. Keep climbing the peak, keep being the best, and keep excelling. Thank you so much for your time. And that brings us to the
Thank you.
end of today's interview with Mr. Ayodeji. Thank you all for connecting. Geeky Nigeria organizes this type of interviews to enlighten, to inspire, to inform. And as a media company, Geeky Nigeria creates insightful content that is centered around education, technology, and lifestyle. Today, we were honored to host Mr. Ayodeji Akinsanya Kodri, who was the overall best graduating student from the University of Ilorin with a 4.97 CGPA. He has shared with us his journey and experiences, and I hope we get to utilize all that we have learned and listened to this morning. For more insightful content like this, we can visit geeky.com.ng. We keep bringing you more insightful contents. We keep meeting with these great minds and learning from all of their experiences. Now, remember that excellence is achievable and you can definitely go for it. See you next time on our exclusive series, and do have a bright day ahead. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ayodeji, don't go yet. I want to quickly
Okay.